Jimi Hendrix's final words to the music industry. 5 people came to his funeral. The last days. London, September 1970. The city, usually a vibrant tapestry of sound and ambition, felt like a suffocating shroud around Jimi Hendrix. He stood by the window of his room at the Samarkand Hotel, gazing out at the rain-slicked streets of Notting Hill. The vibrant hues of his psychedelic dream seemed to have faded, replaced by a monochrome weariness that clung to him like the damp London air. His guitar, Black Beauty, lay silently in its case, a dormant volcano waiting for an eruption that felt increasingly distant. Just days before, he had played his last official concert at the Isle of Fehmarn Festival in Germany. The performance had been marred by bad weather, a hostile crowd, and his own profound exhaustion. He'd tried to connect, to ignite the spark, but the magic felt elusive, buried under layers of expectation, contractual obligations, and the relentless grind of touring. He was tired, bone-deep tired, not just physically, but spiritually. The joy of creation, once a boundless wellspring, now felt like a trickle. His mind replayed fragments of conversations, arguments with managers, pleas from friends, and the incessant demands of a music industry that saw him less as an artist and more as a cash cow. They wanted another Purple Haze, another Foxy Lady, another explosion of raw, untamed energy. But Jimi was evolving. He yearned for new sounds, for orchestral arrangements, for a fusion of blues, jazz, and rock that transcended the commercial formulas. He spoke of a new kind of blues, a music that would speak to the soul, not just the charts. He wanted to build a studio, Electric Lady, a sanctuary where he could experiment without interference, a place where the muse could roam free. He had poured his heart and soul and much of his money into its creation in New York, a testament to his unwavering artistic vision. He remembered the early days in Seattle, a shy kid captivated by the electric guitar, dreaming of sounds no one had ever heard. Then Greenwich Village, the raw energy, the discovery by Chas Chandler, the whirlwind trip to London, and the explosion onto the world stage. Monterey Pop, Woodstock. Moments of pure, unadulterated transcendence where he felt truly alive, truly connected to the universe through his instrument. He had pushed boundaries, redefined what a guitar could do, what rock music could be. He had been a comet, blazing across the musical firmament, leaving a trail of awe and inspiration. But the comet was burning out. The pressures were immense. The constant scrutiny, the racial prejudice he still faced despite his superstardom, the loneliness that came with being misunderstood, even by those closest to him. He often felt like an alien, a messenger from another dimension, struggling to translate his cosmic visions into earthly sounds. The drugs, once a fleeting escape, had become a heavier burden, a crutch he desperately wanted to discard. He was trying to clean up, to find clarity, to reclaim the pure joy of music. He thought of Monika Dannemann, the German artist he was staying with. She offered a semblance of peace, a quiet companionship amidst the chaos. But even that felt fragile, temporary. He longed for a deeper connection, a true understanding. He had so much more to say, so many more sounds to explore. He felt a symphony brewing within him, a grand opus that would weave together all his experiences, all his dreams, all his pain. He had sketches, fragments, ideas scribbled on napkins and hotel stationery. He was on the cusp of something new, something profound. He felt it in his bones, a restless energy that pulsed beneath his exhaustion. He closed his eyes, picturing the faces of the crowds, the sea of hands reaching out, the roar of approval. He loved them, truly. He played for them, for the collective spirit, for the shared moment of transcendence. But he also played for himself, for the insatiable hunger to create, to express the inexpressible. He wanted to break free from the expectations, to shed the skin of the wild man of rock and emerge as a mature artist, a musical philosopher. A deep sigh escaped him. The weight of the world, the weight of his own genius, felt crushing. He knew he was at a crossroads. He needed a break, a real one, to recharge, to find his center again. He had plans to return to Electric Lady, to dive into the studio, to finally bring his new visions to life. He imagined the sounds, the textures, the emotions. He saw a future where music was a bridge, connecting hearts and minds, transcending all barriers. He believed in the power of sound to heal, to uplift, to transform. The rain continued to fall, a steady rhythm against the window pane. Jimi turned from the window, a flicker of determination in his tired eyes. He wasn't done. Not yet. He had more to give, more to say. He just needed a moment, a breath. Little did he know, that moment would never come. If you're captivated by the untold depths of Jimi Hendrix's journey and want to explore more stories of legendary artists, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't miss out on future deep dives into the lives and legacies that shaped music history. Jimi Hendrix never penned a definitive manifesto to the music industry, nor did he deliver a grand, final speech. His words left behind were etched not in ink, but in the very fabric of his being, in the raw honesty of his music, the frustration in his interviews, and the unyielding pursuit of his artistic vision. They were a silent, yet thunderous, indictment of a system that often prioritized profit over passion, and a heartfelt plea for authenticity in an increasingly commercialized world. His message, pieced together from countless fragments, was a cry for artistic freedom. He chafed under the constraints of managers who pushed for more commercial hits, record labels that demanded conformity, and promoters who saw him as a spectacle rather than a serious musician. "I don't want to be a rock and roll star," he once mused. "I want to be a blues musician, a jazz musician, a classical musician. I want to be everything." This wasn't a rejection of his fame, but a yearning to transcend genre, to break down the artificial walls that confined creativity. He saw music as a boundless ocean, not a series of segregated pools. He often spoke of music as a spiritual force, a conduit to higher consciousness. For Jimi, a guitar wasn't just an instrument, it was an extension of his soul, a tool for channeling cosmic energy. He believed that music had the power to heal, to unite, to elevate humanity. "Music is a spiritual thing," he'd say. "You don't play with your fingers, you play with your soul." This philosophy stood in stark contrast to the industry's growing obsession with marketability and mass appeal. He wasn't interested in crafting catchy jingles, he was striving for sonic transcendence. His unreleased material, the endless jams, the experimental recordings from Electric Lady Studios, all spoke volumes. They revealed an artist constantly pushing boundaries, exploring new textures, and refusing to be pigeonholed. He was delving into jazz fusion, incorporating elements of funk, and even dabbling with orchestral arrangements. He envisioned a future where music was a fluid, ever-evolving entity, not a static product to be packaged and sold. He was frustrated by the lack of understanding from those who controlled his career, who couldn't grasp his desire to move beyond the psychedelic blues rock that had made him famous. They wanted the familiar, he craved the unknown. There was also a profound sense of disillusionment with the superficiality he encountered. He was a black man navigating a predominantly white industry, often feeling tokenized or misunderstood. He wanted his music to speak for itself, to break down racial barriers, to be judged solely on its merit. He was a pioneer, not just musically, but culturally, yet the underlying currents of prejudice and exploitation were never far from the surface. He saw how the industry could chew up and spit out artists, how it could commodify rebellion and turn genuine passion into a manufactured trend. His final words were a testament to the enduring power of the individual artist against the machinery of commerce. He implicitly urged future generations of musicians to stay true to their inner voice, to resist the siren call of easy fame, and to never compromise their artistic integrity. He demonstrated that true innovation often comes from defying expectations, from daring to be different, even if it means walking a lonely path. He showed that the most profound impact isn't measured in record sales alone, but in the hearts and minds touched, the boundaries shattered, and the new possibilities unveiled. He was a prophet of sound, a visionary who saw music as a universal language capable of expressing the deepest human emotions and connecting us to something larger than ourselves. His legacy is a living testament to this belief. He left behind a blueprint for artistic courage, a reminder that the true measure of an artist lies in their willingness to explore, to experiment, and to remain relentlessly authentic, even when the world demands conformity. His music, vibrant and alive, continues to whisper these truths across the decades, a timeless message to anyone who dares to pick up an instrument and speak from the soul. What do you think was Jimi Hendrix's most profound message to the world, beyond just his music? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments section below. We'd love to hear your perspective on his enduring legacy. The news ripped through the music world like a discordant chord, silencing the vibrant hum of the swinging 60s and 70s. Jimi Hendrix was gone. September 18, 1970. The cause, officially, was aspiration of vomit due to barbiturate intoxication. The world reeled, grappling with the sudden, tragic loss of a supernova who had burned so brightly, so briefly. His body was flown across the Atlantic, from the gray skies of London to the familiar, rain-kissed landscape of Seattle, Washington. It was a journey back to his roots, to the city where he had first dreamed of electric guitars and cosmic sounds. The funeral was held on October 1970 at Dunlap Baptist Church, followed by his burial at Greenwood Memorial Park in Renton, a suburb of Seattle. The day was overcast, a fitting backdrop for the collective grief that hung heavy in the air. Yet, despite the somber skies, an extraordinary gathering unfolded. 5,000 people came. 5,000 souls, drawn from every corner of his life and legend, converged to bid farewell to the man who had redefined music. There were his family members, his father Al Hendrix, stoic yet heartbroken, his grandmother Nora, his siblings. They were the ones who knew James Marshall Hendrix before he became Jimi, the global icon. They remembered the shy boy, the quiet dreamer, the one who always had a guitar in his hands, even if it was just a broomstick. Then came the giants of the music world, his peers and admirers. Miles Davis, the jazz legend, sent a wreath. Members of the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Mitch Mitchell and Noel Redding, were there, their faces etched with disbelief and sorrow. Johnny Winter, Buddy Miles, members of Sly and the Family Stone, and countless other musicians, producers, and industry figures stood shoulder to shoulder, a testament to the profound respect and admiration he commanded. They were not just colleagues. They were fellow travelers on the sonic frontier, and they had lost their guiding star. But it wasn't just the famous who came. The vast majority were fans. Young people, old people, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. A kaleidoscope of humanity united by their love for his music. They wore tie-dye and denim, leather and lace, a vibrant tapestry of counterculture and mainstream alike. They came from Seattle, from across the country, some even from overseas, having heard the news and felt an irresistible pull to be present at this historic, heartbreaking moment. They lined the streets, stood silently outside the church, and gathered around the gravesite, a silent, reverent army of mourners. The atmosphere was a complex blend of profound sadness and an almost spiritual reverence. Inside the church, the eulogy spoke of his genius, his kindness, his struggles, and his enduring spirit. Reverend M.L. King, Jr., not the civil rights leader, delivered a powerful sermon, acknowledging Jimi's unique gift and his impact on the world. There were tears, quiet sobs, and the occasional shared memory that brought a fleeting, bittersweet smile. As the casket was carried out, the crowd outside swelled, a sea of faces reflecting a shared sense of loss. The procession to Greenwood Memorial Park was slow, deliberate, a final journey through the city that had birthed his dreams. At the gravesite, the sheer number of people was overwhelming. It wasn't a chaotic mob. It was an organized, respectful outpouring of love. People stood for hours, some holding flowers, others simply gazing at the coffin, trying to comprehend the finality of it all. The air was thick with unspoken gratitude, for the music he had given, for the boundaries he had shattered, for the way he had made them feel. His music had been a soundtrack to their lives, a voice for their generation, a beacon of freedom and expression. Now, that voice was stilled, but its echo resonated in every heart present. The Cinquantendays were not just witnesses to a funeral, they were participants in a collective acknowledgement of a legend's passage, a communal embrace of his eternal spirit. It was a farewell, not just to a man, but to an era, and a profound recognition of the indelible mark he had left on the world. If you found this glimpse into Jimi Hendrix's farewell moving and impactful, please consider giving this video a like. Your support helps us continue to share these powerful stories. The earth settled over Jimi Hendrix's grave in Renton, but his spirit, his sound, and his vision refused to be confined. The Cinco mourners who gathered that October day in 1970 were just a fraction of the millions whose lives he had touched and whose musical landscapes he had irrevocably altered. His death, though tragic and premature, did not diminish his light. It solidified his place as an eternal flame in the pantheon of music. Jimi Hendrix's impact on music is immeasurable, a seismic shift that continues to reverberate through generations of artists. He didn't just play the guitar, he reinvented it. He transformed it from a mere instrument into a voice, a wailing, screaming, singing, whispering entity capable of expressing the full spectrum of human emotion. His innovative use of feedback, distortion, wah-wah pedals, and other effects wasn't just technical wizardry. It was an extension of his artistic soul, creating sounds that were utterly unprecedented. He made the guitar talk, cry, laugh, and roar, pushing its sonic capabilities beyond anything previously imagined. He was a master of improvisation, his live performances legendary for their spontaneity and raw energy. Each show was a unique journey, a conversation between him, his guitar, and the audience. He blended blues, rock, R&B, and psychedelia into a seamless, explosive tapestry, creating a new language for rock music. His influence can be heard in virtually every rock guitarist who followed, from Eddie Van Halen to John Frusciante, from Prince to Tom Morello. He didn't just inspire, he set the standard, a benchmark of creativity and virtuosity that remains unchallenged. Beyond his technical prowess, Jimi was a cultural icon who transcended racial barriers. In an era still grappling with segregation and prejudice, he, a black man, became one of the biggest rock stars in the world, captivating audiences of all backgrounds. He broke down stereotypes, proving that genius knows no color, and that music is a universal force capable of uniting people. His image, the flamboyant clothes, the wild hair, the charismatic stage presence, became synonymous with the counterculture movement, embodying freedom, rebellion, and artistic expression. His final words, to the music industry, though unspoken in a literal sense, were a powerful testament to his unwavering artistic integrity. He fought against commercial pressures, yearning for creative control and the freedom to explore new musical territories. His vision for Electric Lady Studios was a physical manifestation of this desire, a sanctuary where artists could create without compromise. He implicitly challenged the industry to value art over commerce, to nurture innovation rather than stifle it, and to recognize the spiritual power of music beyond its market value. His wisdom, gleaned from his life and art, speaks to the enduring power of authenticity. He taught us that true artistry comes from within, from a deep connection to one's own truth, and a fearless willingness to express it. He showed that vulnerability can be a source of strength, and that pushing boundaries is essential for growth. He believed in the transformative power of sound, not just as entertainment, but as a means of communication, healing, and spiritual awakening. Jimi Hendrix's legacy is not just a collection of iconic songs and groundbreaking guitar solos. It is a philosophy of life and art. He left behind a blueprint for how to live passionately, create fearlessly, and inspire endlessly. His music continues to resonate, a vibrant, living entity that speaks to new generations, inviting them to explore, to question, and to find their own unique voice. He may have departed this world too soon, but his final words, the echoes of his guitar, the spirit of his innovation, and the message of his authenticity, will continue to inspire, challenge, and electrify for all eternity. If you've been moved by Jimi Hendrix's incredible story and want to delve deeper into the lives of other musical legends, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next captivating journey through music history.